Welcome to an overview of the three main foreign animal disease preparation programs, those being the U.S. Swine Health Improvement Program, the Secure Pork Supply Plan, and the AgView program. While each of these are separate and distinct programs, they all share commonalities between them, primarily in the three main pillars of foreign animal disease preparations, those being traceability, biosecurity, and surveillance. In this diagram, you can see how those three pillars are interconnected. You can also see how U.S. SHIP has each of the other programs as integral parts of FAD preparedness. So you see, in terms of sampling and testing, the Certified Sampler program is very integral in that piece, and we'll talk more about that in this video. You have traceability, and the AgView program is a software program which is an option for the traceability of movement. And then biosecurity is covered in the Secure Pork Supply Plan. One question that we often get is, how do these programs all work together in a foreign animal disease response? So what you see here depicted is an infected site there in the infected zone with the red arrow coming from the Green Book, which is the disease response strategy for African swine fever. This is kind of the playbook that the state and federal officials will use in order to deal with an infected site. Around that infected site, you'll see a couple of zones. Collectively, if you draw the whole thing together, the infected zone and the buffer zone, that's all called a control area, okay? So the Green Book is really for the infected site there within that control zone. But we may have other pig production sites that are located within that control zone that are not affected by the disease, okay? They're certainly affected by the control zone, but they're not infected with the disease of interest. That's where the Secure Pork Supply Plan comes into effect, and we'll cover that more later in this video as well. And then the U.S. Swine Health Improvement Plan, or otherwise known as SHIP, with its ASF and CSF monitored certifications, that's really for everybody else who is not involved inside a control zone. If we look at the requirements for each of these programs in a foreign animal disease outbreak, you can see that there's a lot of very similar information between those programs. So what the state and federal regulators are going to require in the Green Book is really information that you will already have if you are already enrolled in the Secure Pork Supply Plan and enrolled in the U.S. SHIP program. So you can see that all of them require a premise identification. They're going to want to see the movement records for the last 30 days. There's programs in there for diagnostic testing and biosecurity plans as well. So let's talk a little bit about what U.S. SHIP is. So it really is the development of U.S. SHIP was modeled after the National Poultry Improvement Program. It's a pilot program that was started in early 2020 and is now being moved to a fully codified USDA program. And it's what's unique about it is in that it is an industry, state, and federal partnership. The National Poultry Improvement Plan has been established 90 years ago. It was established in 1935 for the control of some diseases back then. You can see it's a cooperative program between those three key parts of that. You have industry representation, you have state representation, and you have federal representation involved in that NPIP plan. And the goal really with that plan was to help sustain export markets and also ongoing interstate commerce in unaffected states and regions. So it really is about the demonstration of freedom of disease outside of the trade impacted control areas. Those are those control zones that we talked about before. So this program is very well recognized by the federal government, very well recognized by our foreign trading partners already for our poultry colleagues. What makes this program work very well is a participation is voluntary. It's a voluntary program, and it really is universal across all the different facets of poultry production. So that's really where the US SHIP program got its basis from. And it really, what US SHIP will help establish a national playbook of technical standards that will help provide a uniform approach to disease prevention and then response and recovery by each of the participating states. So you'd see it really focuses on prevention now, and then the demonstration of freedom of disease outside of those control areas that we spoke of earlier. What are the requirements right now to be involved in US SHIP? So it's a very low bar for entry for sure. Um, those requirements listed certainly are just having a premise identification, of which most commercial sites do already. We're working now with our exhibition partners to get them involved in US SHIP and get premise identification established as well. A current and active VCPR with a veterinarian on record, a statement of no garbage or swill feeding to the animals associated with those sites. International visitors all observe 5 days downtime once they arrive here in the United States before they come in contact with any of our swine. There's no sampling and testing requirements yet. And then the last piece of that is a very important in the traceability pillar, which is to keep live animal movement records and then practice sharing them with the official state agency. So the question comes about, why should I participate in US SHIP? What's the benefit for me? And this is really probably one of the more important peacetime activities that we can do in terms of FAD preparedness. Okay, so this really helps with the integration between producers, packers, and the state and federal animal health officials. So we truly are already ready when and if we ever get to a situation where foreign animal disease is diagnosed in the US swine herds. And really what that's going to help us do is already streamline some of the benefits for producers will be things such as streamlining interstate movements between certified sites, because all the state animal health officials, even amongst the different states, they're very familiar with the US SHIP standards. So it's going to make it a lot easier for them to say, okay, well, all right, this site that you're wanting to take these pigs from, there it's already US SHIP certified. I understand all the traceability, all the biosecurity, and all the surveillance and monitoring that goes into that program. That makes it a lot easier for them to develop some comfort level with that production site to say it has all these things in place. So I'm a lot more confident in agreeing on that movement. It will establish international recognition for trade, certainly for those areas not affected by the foreign animal disease outbreak. It will certainly be very important in getting that trade back. That's one of the things that we will unfortunately see with a foreign animal disease outbreak is we'll immediately lose our exports. So in order to gain them back, this is one of the ways that will help to speed that process along. And then we're also looking at things to even expand the program to certify endemic diseases, so domestic diseases that we already have here in place. There's actually currently an evaluation of utilizing this tool for a potential PED eradication for the US, if that's a program that is eventually agreed upon. US SHIP would be a tool that would be used in the attempt to get that done. So really, it's kind of a national playbook and certainly important in trade as well. So how do I go about participating in US SHIP if I haven't already? So the enrollment's pretty simple. You're going to contact the US SHIP official state agency in each state, which is going to be the State Board of Animal Health. You're going to enroll your live production or slaughter facilities with the US SHIP official state agency in which that premise is located, and then the acknowledgement of understanding and compliance with the requirements for certification. For producers here in Iowa, we have single farm and single site enrollments or multi-site enrollment forms, and all those forms can be accessed there. You see up in the upper right-hand corner in blue, at iowaagriculture.gov/ship. So let's talk next about secure pork supply. That's part of a larger program, which is the secure food supply, which is involves the other species, livestock species as well. And it's really ideally made for producers who are in that control zone. So we talked about that early. So producers who may be in a control zone, but that are not infected with the foreign animal disease. There are going to be some additional things that they need to be prepared to do. So those components are all the ones that we talked about earlier, the three main pillars. We've got traceability, biosecurity, and disease monitoring and surveillance. One of the important pieces of that is to have an enhanced biosecurity plan, because we know if you're in a control zone, the foreign animal disease is going to be very close to you. And there may be certain situations where the state animal health official or USDA may require an enhanced biosecurity plan as part of a movement permit. That will be one additional thing if you're located in one of those control zones, even though you may not have the disease, in order to move products into or out of that control zone, you're going to have a movement permit, which a portion or a piece of that may be required to have this enhanced biosecurity plan. So this is a very good activity to do ahead of time while we're here in peacetime before the foreign animal disease event happens, not trying to do it after the fact, after we're in the throes of a foreign animal disease outbreak, trying to put this piece together. And you'll see things such as drawing a map about a line of separation and perimeter buffer areas, site-specific clothing, boots, coveralls, things like that as well. All part of the enhanced biosecurity plan. One thing, certainly for those sites located in that control zone, in that confirmed FAD outbreak, there are going to be samples that are going to need to be collected and tested negative in order for that movement permit to be issued. That's one of the things that we talked about earlier. So one of those issues associated with that is going to be a shortage of veterinarians really to collect samples for that surveillance and movement process. So in response to that, the National Pork Board, the Swine Medicine Education Center, and USDA have developed this program, which is called the Certified Swine Sampling Collector, or the CSSC training program. And the idea with this is really to train people on the farm underneath the direction of a Category 2 accredited veterinarian to be able to collect those samples, and then for them to be able to get them to the lab in order to get the testing done, in order to get the movement permit. So once again, very excellent a peacetime activity to get people trained on the farm to be able to do that, because that will increase our efficiency of getting those lab results faster so we can get the movement permits. At the same time, it also reduces the biosecurity risk. We're short on veterinarians the way it is, and then certainly producers that are sharing a lot of the same veterinarians aren't going to be super excited about having them go into control zones to be able to have to collect those samples for testing. So if we can get sites to at least have at least one person involved with the site to be trained in this program, so that in the event of a foreign animal disease outbreak, they can collect the samples on behalf of the veterinarian and send them off. It certainly achieves both those objectives about getting those lab results quicker and reducing that biosecurity risk as well. There's a very standardized curriculum led by certified veterinarians. There's a classroom portion of that where they learn about the diseases and about the techniques that they'll be utilizing, and then there's some hands-on that goes along with that as well. So in order to become a trainer for the CSSC program, you must be a USDA Category 2 accredited veterinarian with swine experience, and then you must work with the state animal health official for training. For example, here in Iowa, you must attend one of the Iowa IFAD trainings. And then the second is you must have a business relationship with either the owner of the pigs where the individuals are trained, or perform training by the request of the site's Category 2 accredited veterinarian under who the collectors will be submitting the samples. How about the qualifications for the trainees or the people who will actually be collecting the samples? Well, they have to be approved by the Category 2 accredited veterinarian. Once they're approved, then they'll have to go through a sample collection training session that we talked about that has the classroom portion and then the hands-on portion. They'll have to pass a written exam covering the training curriculum, and then they have to successfully complete hands-on evaluation demonstrating competency to be able to collect the samples, package them, and then submit them to the veterinary diagnostic lab. There's excellent resources already for that. So here you see on the left a picture of a fact sheet on all the different techniques that are taught in the CSSC training. There you see one on bleeding. And then on the right is a series of videos on how to actually do that. Now, the great thing about that is we don't need to wait for a outbreak of a foreign animal disease to utilize these. We can actually utilize these training materials for our domestic endemic diseases such as PRRS or PED or mycoplasma as well. All of them are certainly going to be the same. All that information is already located on the Secure Pork Supply website there. You can see it's either on, if you go to secureporksupply.org or securepork.org, you'll be able to get to this website and you'll see either it'll be highlighted on the main page, or if you look to the right there, you go under the training materials, under disease monitoring, you'll see the certified swine sampling collector training, and all those materials for performing those different techniques are located there. And they're available both in English and in Spanish. The third program that we'll talk about for FAD preparation is AgView. And AgView really is truly just a traceability software piece developed by the National Pork Board. The nice thing about that, what AgView can do for you is it ties all the pig movements to your different farm premises. It gathers all that data prior to an incident and holds it securely. And it only releases the data at the producer request. So you still, as the producer, hold all that data confidentiality. And then the state animal health official, in the event of an FAD outbreak, can request that you share that data so that that data can be seamlessly transferred into their emergency management software to help speed along investigation and the traceability portion of the FAD outbreak. And the other nice thing about it is that it complements some other software programs as well. So some of that data can seamlessly move between AgView and other software platforms as well. So there's several different ways of getting data into AgView. There's actually data entry that you can do in the application itself. There's multiple APIs or application program interfaces with different third-party softwares. Some data can be exported from third-party software into AgView and then uploaded, or AgView has a formatted Excel spreadsheet template if you collect your information in Excel and then import it into AgView. Usually to get set up in AgView, you put all your premise information at first. So you put things such as the company site name, the premise identification, the physical address, as well as the latitude and longitude, information such as the location type, the capacity of the site, the number of barns, the number of pigs on site, and the emergency contact information. And then for each of the movement, there's 6 pieces of information that must be filled out for each movement type. There'll be the source premise identification, the destination premise identification, the number in the shipment date, and then the shipment movement type, which you see all the different movement types listed off there off to the right. So yeah, and there's some really neat mapping features certainly as well. You can draw it for all the movements in and out of all the different sites over the last 30 days, which is what the state animal health officials will be interested in. And you can go ahead and set up your free account if you go to porkcheckoff.org/agview. So really kind of in summary, preparing for a foreign animal disease outbreak is going to be most effectively done before the crisis occurs. So we always talk about that as a good peacetime activity, not a wartime activity. It's not something we're wanting to be done after a FAD is diagnosed and the outbreak has occurred. We're going to be scrambling, worrying about lots of other things. So the more of this that we can do ahead of time, the better prepared that we're going to be. Programs such as AgView, Secure Pork Supply, and US Ship certainly are interrelated, and they're going to play a critical role both in the response and the recovery phases. If after this video you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the Iowa Pork Industry Center, or you can reach out to me personally on any of the contact information that you see there on the page. Good luck.